Hello everybody, it is Logan here from Artech, and I am making this quick video to explain what events are in GameMaker. So you might be wondering, what is an event? Well, events can be applied to any object that you create, and they let the developer decide when and how certain code inside their objects is executed. So I will go over some of the most common events that you'll come across. So the first event that I'll go over is the create event. So this is pretty self-explanatory. This basically runs whenever your object is created in your game. So most objects typically are created at the start of the game whenever you place them into your game room. So whenever my game loads, these are the objects that'll be created, and the create code will run for them the second the game starts. However, some objects might not begin when the game starts, such as like projectiles or something. Anyway, the next event I'll go over is the step event. So the step event, that basically runs continuously every step of your game. So it'll continuously run whatever code is inside step. Usually some people put movement in here, but there are other things that you can put in there. If there's anything that you want to check continuously, maybe you want to keep checking the score continuously to make sure you're below a certain amount, or it really depends on what kind of game you're trying to create. The next event I'll go over is the alarm event. And what the alarm event does is whenever whenever you call the alarm to go off, that's when it'll run the code in there. So you could set it up on some sort of timer, and whenever that timer goes off, the things in the alarm will execute. So, for example, maybe if you wanted some sort of power-up and you only wanted it to last for 10 seconds, you might make an alarm that only goes for 10 seconds, and it'll only execute power-up when the alarm goes off. The next event I'll go over is the draw event. Now what the draw event does is it controls all the things that the players see on the screen. So it controls like visual elements. So let's say if you wanted to create a system to keep track of high score, then you would use a draw event for that. Or even if you wanted to make something that changes the backgrounds or changes like some of the sprites or the colors or stuff like that, that would all be done inside the draw event. The next event I'll go over is the collision event. So what the collision event does is when it detects that your object has collided or has basically hit, so basically both of the objects collided together, then the code will execute. So for example, if you wanted to make it so whenever an enemy object collides with your player object dies, then you would do that in the collision event. Some other little events that's basically the most important events. There are some other events that are pretty self-explanatory. So there's also the key down, key pressed, and key up, and these all control key presses in slightly different ways. So the key down will check to see if your key is continuously held down. The key press will just check for a quick key press, and then the key up will only execute when you lift your finger off of a key. And then the other little event that I might mention is the destroy event, which will only execute when your object is destroyed. So, there are also many more objects that you can flip through, and many of them are fairly self-explanatory, so I encourage you guys all to go and check out all of the events that you can add to your objects. I hope you had a good day, and I hope to see you in one of our camps. Goodbye!